This is a speculation on alternative historical scenarios, but in ASMR, this can be a very interesting exercise. So I hope you will enjoy. Okay, so this is what we done. Got this when we are talking about what the scenario is set up, and we have also the facts. But we can start. Hi, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome for another ASMR video. Well, today, for a couple of days I thought about creating something new or combining some new scenarios into us ASMR relating on alternative history or fictional scenarios. And this is my first experiment, which I hope you will enjoy. And the first subject in this series, I'm going to start a series, is what if Canada invaded US? Well, there is a moment in history when this could happen, and I set up an entire scenario and facts that can be somehow related to this fictional, hypothetical scenario. First, we need to return back in time in 1812 in the American War. So, the war, so for this to, for example, for Canada to invade US, the peak for this to happen was in 1812. Well, in that case, there was a different turn in American war. Instead of being primarily fought between the United States and Great Britain, Canada should play a more aggressive role. The war from 1812, that was between United States and Great Britain, in that moment Canada could play an aggressive and side role and spurred its ambitions of its own. What about the motivation? There was a motivation for Canada to invade United States. Yes, in alternative scenario, Canada might have felt threatened by American expansionism and injured by American actions such as territorial disputes, trade restrictions, or border conflicts. Well, economic tensions or cultural differences could be also contributing to rising tension between the two nations. Well, at that point, Canada could seek support from other European powers in this attempt to invade the United States. Perhaps France or Spain, because at that point Spain was involved in the war against the United States. Those two countries, France and Spain, have interests in limiting American influence in the North American continent. Alternatively, Canada might choose to align itself with also the indigenous people who were often marginalized and mistreated by American settlers. So Canada could not do done that without any support. So seeking alliances was crucial. In terms of military capacity, for Canada to successfully invade the United States in 1812, it would require a significant military build-up, strategic and planning. This might involve bolstering its naval capabilities on Great Lakes. Well, the Great Lakes was a very weak point at that moment, and Canada could profit from this and expanding its naval bases and to launch first incursions across the borders with United States. If we take a look over the map of the two countries and on the border of the two countries, we can see that in terms of geography, the region would heavily influence the tactics and outcomes of such an invasion. Well, Canada invasion rules will likely focus on key strategic points along the borders, such as 3 points: Buffalo, Detroit, and Plattsburgh. Well, the outcome of this kind of invasion would be highly uncertain at that point because United States was involved in a direct war with Great Britain. So at that point Canada could profit from this war and take some to expand its border on the US territory. Well, the USA with its larger population and industrial base would likely mount formidable defenses. That's out of questions, of course. However, if Canada were able to maintain its momentum and secure a few key victories, well, Canada, if secures some victories, could potentially force United States into negotiations or even territorial concessions. Well, now we have the whole picture. We have the scenario, we have the participants, we have the key facts. What about the strategy? What kind of strategy could Canada use to successfully invade United States in 1812? Well, first, it was the surprise attack. Alright, yes, Canada will likely aim for a surprise attack to catch United States off guard. This could involve a combination of covert actions at that point and short incursion on the US territory to disrupt the American defenses. The Northern Front. This will set up another front for the United States, which, I repeat, was in direct war with Great Britain. Given Canada geographically advantage, it will likely focus on its initial assault on the northern borders, regions which at that point were not so well defended. Canadian forces could launch coordinated offensive very easy from provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, aiming to capture key border crossings for a larger invasions and also transportation hubs or strategic points. Well, Canada will likely to set base on its naval capabilities, although at that point smaller compared to the United States, would still play a crucial role on the Great Lakes. The Royal Canadian Navy could conduct naval blockades along key American cities and ports on the Great Lakes, disrupting maritime trade and supply lines and potentially launching assaults on coastal cities. The alliance building, recognizing its relative military inferiority compared to the United States at that point. Again, Canada might seek and set base on alliances with the other participants of the war, let's say Spain, and potentially other European powers. Well, next, let's say this would happen. It's the guerrilla warfare, because there will be a military retaliations and maybe a counterattacks from the American side. A guerrilla warfare will set up. As the conflict progresses, if Canada failed to achieve swift and decisive victories, this might resort to guerrilla warfare tactics. Well, if we enter into guerrilla warfare tactics at 1812, this could involve irregular forces, conducted hit-and-run attacks, sabotage operations, and inciting domestic unrest within the United States. The Northern Front will grow larger and larger. Well, at this point, when the war evolved and was hypothetical a direct war between Canada and United States, another strategy will be the diplomatic resolutions. Giving the whole picture of the American war, ultimately, the conflict likely resulted in a devastating consequences for both nations. Therefore, diplomatic efforts to resolve these issues and negotiate a ceasefire would be crucial to prevent a further escalation. And at this point, Canada might request some territorial concessions from United States, which at this point it will be a win for Canada. Well, it's important to reiterate that scenario that I presented is a poor fictional one, and in the reality, in close economic and cultural ties between Canada and United States, this conflict could never take place. It's highly unlikely for both nations. But that was, like I said, a very interesting scenario, hypothetical, fictional, and an alternative history. I hope you enjoyed this video and the subject for this. And next, I will continue to make some such as ASMR experiments with what if alternative history or alternative reality scenarios. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I wish you all the best, of course. Bye bye. So, well, whoa, that was half. Also, this one, good. Well, just on this one. I forgot about mumbling some words and this